Interesting information. We're on your side tonight now, looking at a massive backlog of cases in our state's court system. You might remember that courtrooms nearly closed up in the spring of 2020 at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, that shutdown stretched through most of last year and into early this year. Here in Mecklenburg County, in fact, many courtrooms are still closed. That year plus of courtroom closures created a pileup of cases: criminal, civil, divorces, even traffic tickets. WBTV's chief investigative reporter Nick Oxner has found that backlog has left lawyers and court leaders scrambling for answers.
Well, right now in Mecklenburg County, we're not doing cases in court.
Mark Chetan is a lawyer in Charlotte who handles both civil and criminal cases. For much of the past 2 years, he says, it's been nearly impossible to get any movement in criminal court.
So that means we're talking about tens of thousands of cases potentially stacking up over the last 2 years.
Tens of thousands of cases. It is absolutely so backed up, and just don't really know what will go on with the cases and how they'll get called up.
Chetan says the problem means his clients are waiting for their day in court, and so are victims of crime waiting for defendants to face justice.
I can tell you, I have a 2019 case that was supposed to be in court last week, and the date that I was given for my case was May of 2022.
It's large enough that it has impacted practically everything that we do around here.
Trey Robinson is district attorney in Union County. Unlike in Mecklenburg, Union County courtrooms are back open, but Robison's still bearing out from the more than a year of backed up cases.
I mean, crime didn't stop, and officers didn't stop doing their jobs. People didn't stop robbing each other. Drug dealers didn't stop selling drugs. And so all these cases are kind of being put into the system, while on the other end of the system, we're struggling to manage the caseload.
Nick joins us now here in studio to talk more about this problem. They're the prosecutor. They're obviously talking about criminal cases, but as we mentioned, civil cases, divorce cases, that's a lot of lives that the brakes are on because they're waiting for resolution. These things are important. So I'm wondering, out of all these kinds of cases, is there one sort of area that's being impacted more than others?
Yeah, definitely the criminal cases, because you have a constitutional right to confront your accuser, and that's been interpreted broadly as you got to do stuff in person. Civil cases, a lot of civil, not all, they've gone to WebEx or other virtual types of hearings, but the criminal courts, you need to be in court. And we still, like in Mecklenburg County, aren't really having court. In Union County, where we heard District Attorney Trey Robinson, they are having court, but they can only have so many people in a courtroom at a time, so that creates scheduling problems. So the criminal cases especially backlogged across the state.
Are our juries back in?
They're not in Mecklenburg County generally, but yes, across the state in Union County, jury trials. My mom's a lawyer. She tried a case with a jury in, I think, Haywood County about a month or two ago. So yes, we're starting to get back in to do jury trials. Again, not here in Charlotte, but around the state. But again, you got to think through the COVID procedures. You got to think through if someone gets COVID and has to call out. Well, do you have enough alternates, or do you declare mistrial? So it's all these extra steps.
So these district by district decisions that are being made.
Yep.
So what's the state court system saying about this? Is there some help on the horizon?
So far, they've said nothing. In fact, what I want to know, what I've asked is, are you calling in? So the other biggest limiting factor here are judges, right? In order to have court, you need someone in a black robe on the bench. Well, North Carolina didn't suddenly get extra judges, but they can have what's called emergency judges, which are retired judges or someone who lost re-election, for instance, come back. And so I'm curious to know from the court system, are you relying more on emergency judges, or could you rely more on emergency judges to help hold more court?
Give us a little more context to this issue of what's happening in Mecklenburg compared to what's happening in other counties and what that impact is like here.
Yeah, so it's worse all across the board, right? I mean, our courthouse remains largely a ghost town here in Mecklenburg County, even though we have one of the biggest courthouses physically in the state. And size matters in this case because we're talking about space, right, for people and socially distanced. So we're still not doing much here in Mecklenburg County. Other counties, Union, Cleveland, Lincoln, they're back to court because they've got to clear this backlog. And so while the backlog, folks like Trey Robinson, who you heard in Union County, is trying to creatively schedule and make use of all he can to clear his backlog, Mecklenburg, it just continues to pile up and pile up.
Any way of knowing, say things get back to normal tomorrow, how long would it take to clear this out? Is anybody even guesstimating that?
2 or 3 years is the best
2 or 3 years.
guess. Yeah.
Incredible. Great reporting as always, Nick. Thank you. And you can watch more of Nick's reporting on this important issue. Head to our website, WBTV.com.